As the impending crisis looms, families across the nation must brace themselves for a significant shift in the affordability of essential goods. Starting in September, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has warned that the prices of 10 crucial grocery items are projected to double, creating unprecedented challenges for American households. This surge in prices can be attributed to a combination of factors, including extreme weather events, supply chain disruptions, and increased demand for basic necessities in times of crisis. The impact of these price hikes will be felt deeply, straining budgets and making it harder for families to access food staples they rely on daily. With forecasts predicting more severe hurricanes, wildfires, and floods, not only are supply chains at risk, but the growing unpredictability and availability further exacerbates the situation. It is imperative for citizens to prepare in advance by stockpiling these essential grocery products to ensure their families are safeguarded against the impending economic strain. 10 canned goods. Canned goods are poised to see a significant price increase in September, adding a layer of complexity to grocery budgeting for many households. With a forecasted rise of approximately 30%, consumers can expect to pay an additional $0.58 per can. This dramatic surge is primarily driven by several interlinked factors, including proposed tariffs on tinplate steel imports, which could reach as high as 300% on goods from key suppliers such as China, Germany, and South Korea. While the objective behind these tariffs is to bolster American manufacturing, the immediate consequence is an unavoidable rise in consumer prices. The canned goods industry is heavily reliant on raw materials like steel and aluminum, which have experienced significant price hikes due to global supply chain disruptions. These disruptions have been exacerbated by heightened demand in a recovering economy and ongoing geopolitical tensions. For example, as consumers are more inclined to stock up on non-perishable items, the demand for canned goods has surged, further straining supply and driving prices upwards. Additionally, rising energy costs have also impacted the production of canned goods. With manufacturing processes generally requiring substantial energy input, the increase in electricity and gas prices has forced producers to adjust their pricing structures. Transportation costs, influenced by escalating fuel prices, have compounded these challenges, leading to higher costs associated with both incoming raw materials and outgoing finished products. Moreover, the labor market continues to offer its own set of challenges. Labor shortages throughout the supply chain have resulted in inefficiencies, increased wage expectations, and ultimately higher operational costs for manufacturers. These factors create a perfect storm that raises retail prices for consumers. Dairy products. As the grocery landscape changes, dairy products are positioned to play a significant role in the anticipated price hikes this September. With projections indicating an increase of up to 25% in prices for staples such as milk, cheese, and butter, consumers are advised to brace for a notable impact on their grocery bills. Several intertwining factors contribute to these escalations, starting with the rising costs associated with feed. Key ingredients like corn and soybean have surged in price, primarily because of global supply chain disruptions and adverse weather conditions that have affected crop yields. In addition to feed price increases, the dairy industry is grappling with labor shortages, which have considerably raised operational costs. The lack of agricultural workers has not only driven up wages, but has also impeded overall productivity in dairy farming. Farmers are struggling to maintain their output while simultaneously facing increased transportation expenses. With fuel prices on the rise, the cost of transporting dairy products to retail locations has become a significant financial burden, further contributing to the impending price hikes. Climate change continues to play a frustrating role as extreme weather patterns negatively influence milk yield and quality. To combat these challenges, many dairy farmers are investing in essential systems such as cooling and irrigation to sustain their production levels. Moreover, there is a shift in consumer demand towards organic and specialty dairy products, which come with higher production costs, inevitably leading to increased retail prices. Recent data shows an unmistakable trend, with average prices for dairy products having significantly increased from January to July 2023. This upward trajectory indicates that consumers should be proactive in managing their grocery shopping habits as September approaches. Experts recommend that families consider stockpiling essential dairy products now to mitigate the effects of future price hikes. As we move into the fall season, the pressure on both consumers and producers alike will only escalate, making it crucial to stay informed and prepared. Eat fresh fruits and vegetables. A confluence of supply chain challenges, climate-related issues, and labor shortages is projected to create a perfect storm, impacting both consumers and producers alike. The expected price doubling is not a mere market fluctuation, but a reflection of deep-rooted concerns that continue to escalate in the agricultural sector. At the forefront of this impending crisis is climate change manifesting through extreme weather events such as droughts and floods. Such conditions have resulted in reduced crop yields and an alarming rate of crop failures, particularly in states like California, where the majority of the nation's produce is cultivated. The severe drought affecting this agricultural hub has strained water resources crucial for farming and significantly diminished the quantity and quality of the crops produced. As suppliers grapple with drastically decreased production, the imbalance between supply and demand inevitably drives prices upward. Furthermore, competition from imported produce adds another layer of complexity. While cheaper foreign fruits and vegetables may provide short-term relief for consumers, they have placed immense pressure on local farmers, often undermining their ability to compete fairly in the domestic market. The paradox lies in the fact that although imports can lead to lower prices initially, the long-term ramifications could include the destabilization of local agriculture, ultimately contributing to higher grocery bills as domestic supplies dwindle. Labor shortages, exacerbated by tighter immigration policies and ongoing pandemic-related restrictions, have further compounded these challenges. Farmers are increasingly compelled to raise wages to attract the limited workforce available, thus shifting those labor costs onto consumers through inflated prices. Lastly, the ongoing rise in transportation costs driven by escalating fuel prices and supply chain disruptions is another factor that cannot be overlooked. The cumulative effect of these issues underscores a troubling forecast for fresh fruits and vegetables as shoppers prepare for a significant hike in grocery bills come September. 7. Oats. The current landscape for oat producers in the U.S. is complex as they confront a perfect storm of challenges that could severely impact prices and availability in the coming months. The agricultural sector is already grappling with unpredictable weather patterns that have led to reduced outputs. For instance, North Dakota farmer Jack Smith reported a staggering 25% drop in his farm's output last year, a trend reflective of widespread issues that many oat producers are facing. Coupled with these adverse conditions, the costs associated with fertilizer and other production inputs have risen by over 20%. This escalation in expenses directly impacts profit margins, prompting many producers to reconsider their planting strategies and pricing. Retailers are also feeling the pressure. Notably, major grocery chains like Walmart are struggling to keep their oat product inventory stocked. Stores are witnessing a decrease in availability, making it difficult to meet customer demand. Sahel Du, a supermarket manager, noted that limits on customer purchases have been instituted to ensure that more shoppers can access oats during this period of scarcity. These measures indicate not only the current supply constraints, but also highlight the soaring demand for oats, as consumers increasingly view them as a healthy dietary choice. Statistics from the USDA paint a concerning picture: a 35% increase in retail oat prices, exacerbated by a 22% decline in domestic production, is expected in the coming months. This rise in prices poses significant challenges for middle-income families in the U.S., many of whom are navigating tight budgets. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, with a median household income of roughly $68,700 annually, families are already feeling the pinch from rising grocery costs. A potential additional increase of 40% in oat prices could translate to an extra $50 to $75 in annual grocery bills, compounding the financial stress on families striving to maintain healthy eating habits amidst escalating costs. The future price trajectory for oats remains uncertain, amid a climate of continued demand for nutritious food alternatives. 6. Orange juice. Once considered the staple breakfast beverage, orange juice is now confronting a significant crisis. The nutritional value of orange juice cannot be overstated. It is a rich source of vitamin C, which is crucial for immune health and overall bodily function. This connection to health and wellness only heightens the stakes as prices are poised to surge. The flavor profile of orange juice, characterized by its sweet and tangy taste, has long made it a fixture on breakfast tables around the world. However, consumers might soon find that the beloved taste comes at a steep price. Currently, the state of Florida, responsible for a substantial portion of the U.S. orange production, is facing draconian declines in supply. The culprit is citrus greening disease, a devastating affliction spread by the Asian citrus psyllid, which has effectively crippled the ability of orange trees to yield healthy fruit. The effects of this disease are evident in the production numbers, which indicate that Florida's orange yield has plummeted to its lowest levels in decades. With an estimated reduction of more than 50% from previous outputs, the deficiency in healthy oranges has resulted in a staggering 30% rise in juice prices. This increase not only reflects the supply issues, but also panders to the desperate demand that persists for this vitamin-rich beverage. Beyond the impact on pricing, the ramifications of declining orange juice production echo throughout various sectors of the economy. Jobs tied to agriculture and processing face uncertainty, while ancillary industries such as transportation and retail also grapple with the consequences. For family budgets and local economies alike, the drop in orange availability and the subsequent price increases forecast a challenging September. Consumers will undoubtedly feel the pinch as they navigate grocery store aisles, where previously affordable options become a financial burden. As we approach the fall, the situation surrounding orange juice serves as a stark reminder of how environmental factors can dramatically impact everyday consumer choices. 5. Cooking oil. As we delve into point number 5 regarding cooking oil, it becomes evident that a confluence of market dynamics is driving prices to unprecedented heights. Currently, there is significant market consolidation, with a few large corporations like Cargill and ADM dominating this sector. This concentration limits competition, allowing these companies to maintain higher price levels. As a result, consumers face inflated costs when purchasing cooking oil, which has increased over 30% in the past year alone. Another factor contributing to rising prices is the imposition of import tariffs on oils such as palm oil. While these tariffs are designed to protect domestic producers, they ultimately lead to increased costs for consumers, making everyday cooking oil much less affordable. Additionally, fluctuations in currency exchange rates for oil-producing countries impact the cost of importing these oils into the United States, further complicating pricing for consumers. Moreover, technological advancements, while beneficial in the long run, initially come with high costs. The use of precision farming techniques and genetically modified crops can drive up production costs, which are often passed down to consumers. This trend is compounded by speculative trading in commodities markets, where investors react to geopolitical tensions and potential supply shortages, creating volatile price spikes for cooking oils. Environmental regulations in oil-producing countries have also come into play. Stricter standards to ensure sustainable practices can increase production costs, and these costs are inevitably transferred to the consumer. As cooking oil prices continue to climb, many households are urgently stockpiling to mitigate the financial strain associated with purchasing this essential item. For bread and bakery products. As we approach September, bread and bakery products stand out as one of the grocery items projected to experience significant price hikes, with costs potentially doubling from their current levels. This escalation in prices is driven by a combination of factors that collectively threaten the stability of bread as a staple in household diets. The surge in prices can largely be attributed to a sharp increase in wheat costs, which have risen due to adverse weather conditions and persistent pest infestations, leading to an alarming 30% drop in wheat production. These challenges have placed considerable strain on wheat supply chains, exacerbated by geopolitical tensions, particularly in Eastern Europe. Conflicts in this region have resulted in disruptions to global wheat flows, further complicating the availability of a key ingredient for bread making. In addition to these factors, rising energy costs have imposed additional burdens on baking operations. The increase in global energy prices translates to higher production costs, making it more expensive for bakeries to operate efficiently. Compounding these issues are labor shortages that have affected both farming and manufacturing sectors. As businesses struggle to attract and retain workers, wages have inevitably risen, contributing to the overall increase in bread prices. Transportation challenges also play a pivotal role in the projected price increases. The rising cost of fuel, alongside ongoing supply chain disruptions, has resulted in higher transportation costs for both raw materials and finished goods. This inflationary pressure trickles down to consumers, making it increasingly difficult to find affordable bread options. Finally, evolving consumer preferences have introduced another layer of complexity to the pricing landscape. The growing demand for organic and specialty bread products has led to price increases that could see these varieties costing up to 50% more than earlier this year. For consumers accustomed to paying approximately $2.50 for a loaf in January 2023, the projected average price of $3.20 in July reflects a worrying trend that shows no signs of abating. The convergence of these factors underscores the urgency for consumers to prepare for the escalating prices of bread and bakery products in the coming months. 3. Coffee. As we delve deeper into the forecast of grocery items expected to double in price by September, coffee stands out as a particularly impactful product. Set to surge from $6.50 per pound in July 2023 to over $10 per pound by September 2023, the projected price increase reflects a confluence of factors that have plagued the coffee industry throughout the year. One prominent aspect contributing to this price spike is the historical price increase observed, where coffee has already risen by 30% from $5 per pound in January 2023. This trend indicates a market that has been under significant strain for quite some time. The climate crisis cannot be ignored when discussing the future of coffee pricing. Key regions such as Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia have been disproportionately impacted by extreme weather conditions, which include severe droughts and floods. These events have drastically reduced coffee yields, leading to not only a scarcity of beans, but also a decrease in the quality of the coffee produced. The combination of lower yields and inferior quality beans has created a perfect storm, driving prices up further. In the past year, the global coffee production has seen a decline of 5.1%, which directly correlates with the problematic weather patterns that farmers have faced. To compound these issues, the coffee industry is grappling with significant labor shortages. The Brazilian Coffee Institute has reported a staggering 20% rise in labor costs in 2023, further driving the expenses associated with cultivating and processing coffee. As we approach September, the continual adverse weather conditions alongside the labor challenges present substantial risks to future coffee supply. For consumers, this means higher prices and potential shortages, contributing to a broader sentiment of concern about the sustainability and accessibility of one of the world's most beloved beverages. 1. Meat products. With the looming threat of price increases, meat products stand out as one of the grocery items projected to double in price come September. This anticipated inflation stems from a confluence of factors that have been affecting the meat industry. Rising feed costs, primarily for grains such as corn and soy, have escalated due to high demand coupled with adverse weather conditions impacting yields. As a result, livestock raising costs have soared, translating directly into higher prices for consumers. Labor shortages in the meat processing sector exacerbate the situation, where a lack of manual workers leads to slowdowns in processing operations and ultimately drives up wages. These increased labor costs, along with the mounting pressures from compliance with stringent health, safety, and environmental regulations, place an additional financial burden on farmers. As they grapple with these escalating costs, the pressure mounts to pass on these increases to consumers. Transporting livestock and meat products also presents a challenge, as soaring fuel prices contribute to heightened transportation expenses. Consequently, meat prices are further inflated as these costs accumulate along the supply chain, adding another layer of complexity to pricing. Moreover, outbreaks of animal diseases, such as African swine fever, have significantly curtailed the supply of various meats, notably pork, intensifying competition among consumers and pushing prices higher. Coupled with geopolitical factors like tariffs and trade restrictions disrupting supply chains, the landscape for meat products remains precarious. Finally, the rising consumer demand for higher quality and organic meat products has driven production costs to new heights. While consumers are increasingly inclined towards premium options, the desire for quality translates into a willingness to pay more, compounding the price increases. The case of Jack Shaw, a farmer facing a staggering 40% rise in overall costs, highlights the dire state of the industry. With concerns about his farm's viability, Shaw encapsulates the broader anxiety among meat producers. As consumers brace for a significant jump in prices, the impacts of these various factors are poised to be felt deeply at the grocery store checkout come September.